Welcome to this latest episode in our series, Successful Selling in the Brave New World, where you are going to learn from Riaan Pietersen, professional sales strategy advisor, and Tony van Niekerk, editor of Cover Magazine, as they interview some of the world's top sales professionals, organizations, and sales leaders about what it takes to become and remain successful. Our series is designed not only to add value to sales organizations, but also to help individuals adapt and thrive in this changing new world. Our mission is to enable your success and empower you to live life on your terms.
Hi, this is Tony van Niekerk, Cover Magazine. As you guys would know, we do quite a lot of video interviews with different specialists in the industry. We've decided to start a series, a few series on sales, on advice, short-term financial planning in the risk management environment, especially to ensure that we bring you specialists on various topics about how to improve practices, how to improve the business, to bring in other ideas, etc. And no better place to start than to try and figure out whether sales is still relevant in today's environment. What is the role of sales when we're moving into an advice environment? With me is Riaan Pietersen, founder of Blue Ocean Consulting. Riaan, thank you very much for being here.
Tony, thank you. Yeah.
Welcome.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
Yes. I've known Riaan probably for 25 years. We've come through the ranks of selling where it was still hard sales, and we then moved into trying to do a bit of advice and to get more to meeting the clients where they are, products changing over the years, regulation changing, etc. Where we are today at an environment where advice is at the forefront. So Riaan, my opening question to you is, I'd like you to introduce yourself a little bit to us, but also it seems to me like your business is not relevant anymore because what is the role of sales? We're moving away from sales. It's about advice. It's not about commission. It's about fees. So how do you position that?
I mean, great question. But the bottom line, in my perspective, whether we call it advice, fee structured advice, it still boils down to sales. We are still selling ourselves and individuals or corporations to clients out there. So no matter if you're an advisor, and this is where we want the industry to go to professionalize. And back in the day, and we spoke about this, how we did it was completely different to how we trying to implement it and more professionalize the industry today. It's still sales. The core of what we do as individuals and organizations still boils down to selling yourself as an advisor, as a professional advisor. It's changed in the way that we do it and we approach it, and it's a lot more professional in 2016 than what we did at 25 years ago. 25 years ago, clients didn't know what we did. Now they know what we do, and they know our competitors. So things have changed, and going towards the advice side still boils back to sales. So I don't think I'm unemployed yet this year. But as you know, as you rightfully said, things have changed. But we need to adapt. And there's things we need to look at as organizations and individuals.
So currently when you go to a life company, for instance, I won't name names, but if you go to one of the big 4 or 5 life companies and you go to see their salespeople. Now, they're not salespeople anymore. They're financial consultants. They're financial advisors. Where do you start? How do you approach? Well, you have to sell.
Sure. I think the core, Tony, is it depends where the individuals are. You get extremely successful individuals that have always been at the top of the ranks that are coming through these days that are still struggling. Guys that were successful 20 years ago aren't notably successful in this market environment because of the change. You get the guys that are kicking against the new legislation coming in, especially in the insurance markets. So the starting point is I would break it up into groups. Obviously, there's youngsters that have absolutely no idea. And those are probably the easiest guys to introduce into advice because they don't have the background that me and you had. You know, we were sales guys. We used to sell to clients, and clients didn't have any information. So it's like buying a car 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when you bought a car, you walked into the showroom, you called the salesman over, and he explained what was going on. So you sold. These days, when you walk into a car dealership, the information is out there. I know what I want to buy. I know what's under the hood. I know the fuel consumption. I know everything about that car. I actually don't want the sales guy around until I'm ready to choose the finishes and to sign the document. Advice is exactly the same. When we don't push our needs onto our clients, that's advice. When we look at what clients really need and understand their business and understand their industry, then we can advise them from a professional side. Whether it's insurance, portfolio management, banking, whatever it is, if you're selling a cell phone or a car or a financial product. Advice is a change of mind. It's a switch that people need to switch on here to say, listen, I'm not here to just sell you a product that I like. I am here to look at your specific needs and requirements, but I need to understand your life and I need to understand your business before I can advise you as to what is the right product or service that you need in your organization or for yourself.
Yes. So what are we going to do over the next few of these sessions? I know, for instance, we're going to be talking to a few financial advisors who are either already fully into a fee-based environment. We're also going to talk to those who are not yet fully fee-based, but they still work on a certain amount of commission. And then you also said that we're going to be looking to talk to some of the guys who are managing people, who are responsible for advice as well as responsible for sales targets.
Yeah. So I've always been fascinated with why certain individuals are successful and why others are not. And yes, of course, it's the habits and the rituals that the guys follow and the right mindset. But there's successful people out there that have got a formula, and they had a formula 20 years ago. And when I speak to them now and I ask them whether or not that formula will work in today's environment, a lot of them say they don't think so, they don't know. The interviews, the reason why we want to bring these interviews in, I'll mention a couple of names now that we're going to start interviewing and get their perspective of why they're successful. You would get two individuals that start in the same blocks. One would rise, one would not. And yes, one works hard and the other one doesn't, and maybe the one has a lucky break, and luck does count to a certain extent, but as Gary Player said, he creates his own luck by practicing. So there's certain things and habits and rituals and core values that an advisor and a thoroughbred, let's call it professional sales advisor, has to implement into his daily practice. The reason why we want to interview the people, and especially high profile, successful guys that have been in the industry for 30 years and guys that started 5 years ago and that are tremendously successful, is that we can learn. What are they doing that we can share with your audience? You know, we can take a financial advisor that's been in the industry for 15 years and is earning R1 million a month, and we want to know why. You know, what do you do? What is it that drives you, and what do you do every day? Give us a day in the life of Mr. X. And then we'll go to some international guys as well. You know, Capgemini, Accenture, some of the top sales guys, sales leaders that appoint people in franchise divisions of insurance companies to say, okay, you've now had the experience over a 20-year period to appoint franchise principals and advisors or brokers. Give us the recipe of the guys that really make it and those that don't. There's a trend, there's a blueprint. There's in sales or consulting, there's always a blueprint, and we want that blueprint for our audience that we can share. And for us, and I know you share the same sentiment as me, Tony, is I know in 2016 that around 90% of the sales guys out there are struggling. The guys are really struggling, and you can call yourself a consultant or salesman or whatever it is. The guys are struggling to face the right client, to close the deals, because there's competition. Things have changed. Things have changed drastically. Yeah. So we're going to learn from the leaders on what they're doing. You know, how do they manage this?
Yes. I think what hasn't changed over all these years, and for sales and for advice, is the fact that you have to meet your client where they are at. You have to understand your client. If you don't do that, you won't be able to sell, and your advice will fall on infertile ground, because you're not giving the advice in a way that it will work for the client. You're also not selling in a way that it will work for the client. So over the next few sort of call it episodes of this series on sales, we'll be talking to a few different guys, specifically coming from different areas. And we will be looking at how to make sure that sales are successful, whether it is your advice that you're selling or whether it is selling as an agent. The fact is, it's still all about sales. It's still about the fact that you have to sell whatever it is that brings in the money.
Mostly yourself.
And mostly,
people buy people, they don't buy brands. I'm sorry for the brands out there, but you know, you can be the biggest brand. If you have a bunch of plebs selling your products, you're not going to sell your products. So people still buy people. The integrity, they can see it in the eye, they can smell it, they can, when you walk into a room, those things are important.
That's what you're selling. So at the end of this video, you will see we'll have a list of upcoming episodes, and specifically who we are going to target and who we're going to talk to, and look out for those, and you'll find all of this on our website, cover.coza. Thank you for watching this, and look out for the rest.
Tony, thank you. Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you.